guys, go to hardafseltzer.com. Get some 8% seltzer shipped right to your house. We got the peach, we got the watermelon, we got the pina colada, and the blue raspberry.
We are currently live in over 300 stores in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
And if you're heading out to the Major League ballparks this summer, make sure to check us out at the Miami Marlins Stadium, as well as Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, as well as the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We are live inside all three stadiums. So if you're down in Florida this year, check us out. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to the Monday morning recap, everybody. Brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your first deposits all the way up to $1,000. Football is finally back this week. Oh, holy shit. Finally.
What do you mean, like preseason?
Yeah, dude. I
bullshit.
watch it and I bet on it every fucking... I bet on the Hall of Fame game every year. Every single year. I could not wait for the fucking odds to drop this morning.
I honestly,
That's
feel
some junky shit.
I feel like betting on preseason football is like smoking crack at your fucking wedding or something.
No.
Like you can't take one goddamn day off?
Sure can't. I sure can't. Here's why. This game is always like Army-Navy. We always bet the under. MyBookie.com already has it up. So it's the New York Jets at the Cleveland Browns. This is obviously the Hall of Fame game here. They've got Cleveland minus 2.5 in this one. It's always a field goal. So that spread is always the same every single year, regardless of the two teams. Now the over-under this year is at Army-Navy like levels 31.5. 31.5.
So you don't trust the reports out of camp that Zach Wilson is looking like a brand new man.
I actually do. And therefore, I would recommend you betting on the Jets on this one.
Oh, my God.
And taking the 2.5 points because Zach Wilson's got something to prove.
I can't deal with this.
Yes, you can.
No, man.
Hey, you're going to be watching it, you fucking liar. Everybody's gonna be watching
I never
it.
watch any preseason game.
Really?
Nope.
Never.
I do. I
can't
do every
do
year.
it.
I'll tell you why. I'm looking for that fantasy boost. I'm looking for that one guy who breaks out in camp, and I'll usually draft them between rounds 9 and 11 because I never forget. Dead serious.
Like
There's always one guy that
right
comes out of camp.
between the towers, you mean?
100%.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I watch all of the footage online of practices and everything else. I've already got my favorites. I've already got my sleepers. And I'll give you one here because I know I'm going to go against some of you fucks in fantasy football this year. Calvin Ridley down there in Jacksonville looks sexy as fuck, dude. And finally, Lawrence is going to have some weapons down there. That's going to be a good, fun team to watch. The only thing that's going to suck for Jacksonville is 2 of their games this year are in fucking London, dude. So that travel's it's going to blow. That travel's going to fucking blow. They were this close to selling the team to London, and then at the end...
Well, Khan came in, bought the team, said he was going to keep him in Jacksonville.
Right.
But
so
yeah.
This was kind of years in the making there. So if you're a Jacksonville fan and wondering why they're playing 2 games in London, this was pretty close, man, to get in the NFL in Europe.
Yeah, but I mean...
do you forget NFL Europe? The highly successful
Sure do.
mid-early
Sure do.
aughts.
Yep. Fucking Barcelona Dragons.
The
I forgot all about that.
The only alt league has been the CFL, right? That's actually persisted.
They're not even an alt league though. That's like just that country's own thing.
Yeah.
I guess, but it's
all American players.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, the NHL's mostly not American players, so fuck it. Like it's just they're just doing their own weird football version of clown version of football up there.
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like 3 downs.
Receivers can take running starts.
So that's an arena
Yeah,
football thing.
it is.
But the field's bigger too, right? Wider, I think.
Yes,
The
it's
end zone's-
110 yards. I
The end
believe,
zone's 20 yards.
a piece. It's a strange league. Doug Flutie came out of there, so we got that,
I don't.
and that's fun.
Ricky Williams had a season there.
The Rough Riders.
But that was after he got
there.
bumped for smoking weed. Right?
Marijuana.
Yeah, for Marijuines.
Those days are over.
You want to hear some even more junky shit, dude? My bookie's got 8 props already listed on this game, dude. gross. I love it so much.
Presumably Watson's not going to play, right?
He's definitely not going to
Watson, Chubb, none of those guys are going to play.
Or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't sniffing
he's
the
definitely not
field
gonna play,
in
yeah.
this game.
But he's 40.
Zach Wilson, I bet you he torches it in this fucking thing. I'm going to take the Jets.
Who is he throwing to? Like, who are
great
their
question.
4th, 5th, and 6th receivers? Because that's who he'll be throwing to, right?
You know, I know they loaded up in the offseason, so they do have like 6
They
options
do, but
there.
it's like Lazard, who's
Right.
He's not going to be playing. You wouldn't think, right?
I don't know. Does
Garrett
Lazard
Wilson's
play?
definitely not.
Garrett
gonna be
Wilson's
playing.
not playing for sure.
Well, Lazard is like the security blanket that they brought over for Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yes.
They don't want to risk him getting hurt. I would
No,
imagine.
I think Randall Cobb was also brought over for him, and a couple other guys.
He's got like a. Has this happened in sports before, where a guy's just got a posse, and if you sign him, you got to sign his buddies?
LeBron. That's the
But
only one that I
who
can
are the
think
other
of.
guys?
It depends over the years, but LeBron was like towing around like Birdman for a while.
That's true. Yeah.
And then, I mean, more recently,
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith was a dude. He always kind of.
But that was only in
That was only in Cleveland.
Cleveland, right? He never played in L.A. or anything.
No, I think he ended up retiring though at
Yeah.
that point.
I don't think
golfer.
I don't think LeBron wanted to hang out with him anymore after the
Oh,
the
my
meme,
God.
the fucking.
Yeah. You got a ring though, right? J.R. Smith has
He got
a ring.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
He was on that 3-1 comeback team.
2016.
Yeah, he's got a ring.
And now he has a scholarship.
Congratulations. A scholarship.
He's a straight
Can you
A student.
imagine being a guy that made $80 million in the league and then getting a scholarship? Shouldn't you just say, "I'm good, I'll pay"?
I'll walk on.
No,
God damn.
money's money, dude. You know, and he's probably bringing people out to the course out there. What is it? North Carolina AT&T.
Yeah, it's a
Something like that.
historically
Like that.
black college.
Oh, cool.
I forget which one, but
He's
yeah.
black, so that works.
He's
good for him.
historically black. Yeah.
He's always been historic.
So far as we know.
Yeah.
So far as we know.
Yeah.
But the odds at halftime, in case you're curious, it's a pick 'em at halftime. And the over-under for the half is 13.5 points. Delco, this is some shit you'll jump in on. I guarantee it.
Wait,
not.
the over/under is
It's not.
13 and a
You're a liar.
half for the
half.
first half?
Yep.
And then the game is 31?
Correct.
That doesn't make a ton of sense.
So they're expecting some late game heroics or what the
Right.
Well, what they're expecting is, I think you're on your 4th string in the second half,
Yeah.
and so the defenses should be a little lax because that's when they come back in preseason. But I watch all this shit. This will definitely be on in the background, and since it is the Hall of Fame game, they'll usually have all the guys there. Who's going into the NFL Hall of Fame this year? Isn't it a banger of a class? Was this the year that I was thinking of? Because I think it's a bunch of fucking sweet dudes this year.
Let's see. Hall of Fame class 2023. Rondé Barber,
Pass.
Chuck Howley,
Pass.
old linebacker from the Cowboys.
What's the opposite of a banger?
Okay.
Yeah.
Darrell Revis.
Hang on. Keep going.
Darrell Revis,
I'll give Revis. I like Revis.
Joe Thomas.
DeMarcus Ware.
Oh, Joe Thomas is dope.
Joe
dude.
Thomas, Zach Thomas, and DeMarcus Ware, 3 very good defensive players.
Yes. Joe's been on the show.
Yeah.
So okay, that's not bad. It's not Dion and the boys, but maybe I've got it mixed up with next year's
Don
class.
Coriel. I don't know who that is.
Don Cornelius from
Nope.
Soul Train.
I wish it was him.
Same here. That'd be great. It'd be great. But either way, 3 more days worth of this bullshit, and then at least we got some preseason on. I bet on it because I'm disgusting. I hope they let me tease this game. I always do these Thursday night games on teasers. If they let me tease this up to 9.5 and get 38.5 on the over, let's go, dude.
I know,
You can't tease something like that.
I
Come on.
wonder. I'll find out on game day. I've not put my bets in yet, but the fact that it even popped up today gave me a fucking boner, dude. So I'm excited about that. And then baseball is our top story here today. TV ratings came out for baseball. Monstrous. It is up 10% this year, which in Hollywood terms is a big boy number here. What's with the resurgence in baseball? The article that I read was in relation to the rule changes. I also think it's gambling. Bob, I know you're gambling more and more on baseball these days. What you reckon here is the big resurgence in baseball?
I don't think it's gambling just because I don't think. I mean, the simplest answer is just the expanded playoffs. There's more teams that are within the loop of contention, so there's more fan bases watching. And then secondly, I think the number 2 reason is just the rules have made the games faster and more compelling.
This is the biggest year-over-year change since 1998.
It is. And obviously, we remember what happened in 98. It was one of the greatest years in baseball history. At least it's from a fan perspective. Now, I was harsh on these rule changes. So were you regarding the bases and everything else. And then it has all worked. Once you go to a game, it is funner to watch. You definitely don't want to miss anything. And it has made the game more exciting, especially watching it on TV as well, where you know you're not sitting down for 4.5 fucking hours like it's cricket.
Yeah, I do. I wonder also what the TV ratings are like, right?
That is the TV
Well,
ratings.
no, so the attendance is also up 9%. So
Oh, yeah.
10% for TV ratings.
10% for TV ratings.
Damn.
And almost 10% in attendance.
Yeah.
But I think it's because you know you're not going to be sitting there for 4.5 hours. And then what do you do with the kids at that point?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I know I enjoyed it. And then I think the MLB got lucky with a guy like Ellie De La Cruz, who's coming in stealing bases, because that was another rule change, was you could only throw over to, first, twice?
Yeah, which is a huge. That's been the biggest effect on base running, I think, more so than the big bases and the pitch clock.
Not just that you can't throw over to the base, you can't step off repeatedly either, right? Like anytime you disengage from the rubber, you get 2 of those, and if you don't pick him off in the third one, it's a balk, basically, right? So that's got to be part of it too. It's definitely more exciting.
I mean, it helps too. There's 2 franchises that have just been in the fucking toilet who are kind of resurgent this year, being the Orioles and Reds, and they both have good they're good baseball towns. So I'm sure their percentages have gone up insanely. And then you got the Texas Rangers, who have been garbage for near a decade at this point, who are back, and they've got a huge fan base.
Frauds.
Yeah. Look,
I do declare them frauds.
no,
We'll see. They just traded for everybody.
They
They're
just got
rotating.
Max Scherzer over the weekend.
It's all like
Montgomery.
mid-tier dudes. I mean,
I've seen this before.
Max Scherzer has like a 4.60 ERA this year, so maybe he does something. And then Jordan, whatever the fuck, Montgomery from the Cardinals. I mean, those are good middle of the rotation guys at this point in their career, but they don't have a front of the rotation guy except for Gray.
Evaldi's putting up front of the rotation numbers. But
He is for now, but we'll see how that continues, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big risk. But
They have
Texas has never been shy about spending money.
No.
You remember that contract that they gave to A-Rod, and then the contract they gave to Josh Hamilton right after that? They don't give a fuck about spending money. And then the one they gave to Corey Seager and Marcus Semien and all these guys, they spend money.
Well, they have the fan base for it.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, just from you and I own at DrinkinBrosTickets.com, we see a lot of Rangers tickets come through on the back end. So they definitely have the fans to do it. I think another thing that helped them was the new ballpark, because it's a dome. I don't if you guys have ever been to that old stadium. Holy shit, dude!
Brutal.
I almost had a stroke. I almost stroked out in the ballpark. It was so goddamn hot.
There should never be an outdoor stadium in Texas.
Ever.
That's crazy.
Ever. What's the one here? O2 when I took the kids to see the soccer game. Fucking lying in the bleachers. Oh, Dad, why are you doing this to us? It's 104. There's no escape. At least with the Marlins, they were smart and put a fucking dome on that goddamn place.
Retractable, yeah.
Yeah, so did Texas. So we'll see what happens there. What are some other big moves that we should be looking for here before the trade deadline?
Well, first, I want to run through some of these numbers because some of this stuff makes sense and some of it doesn't. These are the attendance percentage change year over year, right? So the Phillies and Indians are both plus 40% in attendance this year. Cleveland, I understand because they overperformed this year, even though they didn't go hard sell, they did soft sell. But Philly is quite a bit worse than they were last year, right?
I think they're about the same.
They have Seager now, but the performance has been
Turner,
let's say Turner, yeah, worse based on what you would have expected. I
Yes.
guess, is
Yeah.
a way to say that. But still, attendance is up 40%.
Coming off a World Series.
That does help, yeah. The Reds are up 38%.
Reds make perfect sense.
Also, all they did was sell more standing room only tickets.
Probably,
for $19 a pop.
Probably.
Which are fun. Have you been to standing room only?
That's all I used to get.
Same.
In high school, that's all I did.
Same.
Because who the fuck wants to sit in a baseball game?
One, I was fucking poor, but 2, it was right by the bar. So you could just endless
Yeah.
booze right there, and then you could casually watch the game.
Baseball
and get
game's
drunk.
background.
It's the same in the San Francisco Giants. That
Yep.
whole right field area is all standing room. There's some seats for wheelchairs and shit. Tampa Bay is up 30%, 31%. Good for us.
That's
Yes,
interesting.
that's very good for us.
Pittsburgh is up 30%. That's shocking.
Well-
they had a good first half of the season for sure, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
They've collapsed since.
Yeah.
They're 10 games out.
What about the teams around Pittsburgh? Maybe it's like a fun place to travel.
Well, Baltimore is up 27%, but that's not because of Pittsburgh's success. It's because of their own.
Yeah.
Texas is up 24%. That's obvious. Miami is even up 14%.
Yep.
Wow.
But they've been
Also good for
it
us.
isn't so Miami's performed well, but they're also doing whatever the World Baseball Classic is, but just for Latin America. They bought the rights to that, and it's going to be starting next year at the Marlins
Caribbean
Stadium.
Series.
Yeah, whatever it's
I
called.
think. Yeah.
Okay.
So North, South, and Central American teams all play against each other in a tournament there every year now.
Oh, no
Just
shit.
kinda
That's
like,
fucking bananas.
Yeah, it's
It really is.
It's
They're
wild.
sold
That's-
out every single game.
That's so our buddy that owns Thank You Miami is probably going to get banned for life from the stadium at some point for throwing shit at Cuban people. But
Yeah.
Houston's up 13%, Arizona 13, Toronto 12, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Interestingly, the Brewers, A's, and Braves are all only up 2%, but I don't know how much more the Braves could fit into their fucking
Or the
stadium.
Brewers. I feel like they do pretty well every
Yeah,
year.
they sell out most
Yeah.
of the time too.
The Braves are pretty much sold out all the time. So, like, being up 2% for them is
There's
probably
a-
an extra 500 people.
Yeah, I mean, there's
it's-
a ceiling at some
Yeah,
point. They won the World Series 2 years ago, won 100 games last year. Like, what do you?
They have the best record in Major League Baseball currently. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
San Francisco's a wash, same as last year. Although somebody I don't remember who was hitting yesterday, but somebody was hitting and they were just screaming, "Sell the team."
That's about the A's.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about the
That
Oakland A's.
chance been breaking out all over
They should
the MLB.
definitely sell the team.
Well, they are. They're out of there.
Not surprisingly, the two teams that have lost attendance, the Nationals and the White Sox, 13 and 16% losses each, but they both are fucking terrible this year.
White
And
Sox had expectations.
Yeah, the White Sox people thought they were going to be good. So none of this is the numbers of increase are surprising to me, but not the people that increased, I guess. Or
Well,
not the
look,
teams,
the
rather.
game is faster. It's more fun to watch, and it's spreading.
It's also just an affordable ticket.
It is, yeah. And look, Manfred, to me, is still the worst commissioner in sports, but you can't bitch at any of these numbers across the board. And if you're an owner, not only are you happy with attendance going up, but also these ratings.
Right,
Because then when they renegotiate the contract for TV, it's going to be more money to all these owners.
What are you basing that on?
On what?
He's the worst commissioner in sports.
Boy.
I think he
Where
might
do
just
we
be the
start?
least likable.
He might be the least likable, but it seems like he's doing his job well.
Well, I guess now, shit, man. There was a lot of questionable decisions here in the last, 4 or 5 years out of this guy. I mean,
Name one though. Like, what's
everybody's
like a notable thing that he did that was wrong?
Juicing the ball and then
Yes.
lying about it and then rejuicing it and lying about it. I mean, wrong.
No, juice the ball all day.
Yeah, they should always juice the ball, but they also threw in 2 years of a dead ball, right?
right.
It's
then
that's
said
pretty
that they
bad
never
because that
juiced it?
fucks with everybody.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you've got dudes who have warning track power hitting 30 home runs and getting teams invest. Like it fucks over teams
Yeah.
because then someone's like, oh, this is a 30 homer guy now. He took a step and then they give him a $100 million contract and then he's back to being like an 18 homer dude.
So all the Chicago Cubs,
Maybe yeah. I mean, Dan, that was
former
Dansby.
Cubs, the former
Yeah,
Cubs.
former-
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean it's.
So, I mean, you can start with the juice baseballs. You can start with the way he handled the Astros cheating scandal. I mean,
Yeah, that
that
wasn't
was
great.
fucked. They didn't deserve – they should have taken that ring away, in my opinion.
Now- What?
Yes.
No.
Banging on trash cans, stealing signs and all that shit.
Taking
I mean,
championships
I think the
is
reason
dumb.
they didn't take that ring away is because a lot more was going to come out about
Every other team.
About New York and Boston, especially.
Well, why not ban Altuve? Like, he had the wire on crossing home plate.
I don't know if they ever proved that or not, but I do think it was a mistake not to penalize the players that were involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't have to be anything major, just like a fucking 10 or 15 game ban.
Because what do they do? They ended up getting rid of the manager, right?
They fired Carlos Beltran from the Mets. They fired, not fired, but suspended
Cora
from the Red Sox, who he just went back and took that job a year later. But
Yeah.
I don't remember who else, if anybody got fired.
Jeff Luhnow, the
Who?
Astros GM, got fired. But that might have been by Crane, actually.
Yeah, who knows?
I actually think Astros ownership fired him. And then the Astros manager got fired, AJ Hinch. But that also might have been on Crane's part, not on their owner, Jim Crane, not on Manfred.
For what?
For cheating.
Oh,
for
yeah.
The cheating. I will say this, too, credit to Manfred for not pussing out and doing a season during COVID right at the height of. I mean, they obviously pushed it back, but they could have totally postponed that season, and everyone would have been like fine with it.
They could have. He threatened to do it, and then came up with these weird COVID policies. And then who was it in the fucking World Series who had COVID, and they didn't pull him until
Justin Turner.
That's it, dude.
Yeah.
And they didn't pull him until
They let him party with him.
And let him party with him and all that shit.
I will say one rule that he's made that everyone hates that I love is the zombie runner in extra innings in the regular season.
Hate it.
Fuck extra innings.
No, I hate
You got
that
to
rule.
save the arms, man. It's not fucking worth it to have teams play 15 innings.
And if you can't score with a guy on second with no outs,
Yeah.
you deserve to lose.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I love the zombie runner in extra innings because I don't want to watch fucking 8 hours of one game. I've sat through 2 different 18-inning Braves games in my life, and they're fucking abysmal.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I always love extra baseball, and putting a guy on second is just too fucking easy for me. The other thing, too, was pulling that All-Star game out of Atlanta. That was fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah, that was shitty.
Cost the city of Atlanta a shit ton of money, and for what? What was that over again?
A city that's primarily what race?
Black.
Yeah.
So you took away a lot of money there, and I don't really get it. And it was a political move. Yeah, I mean, there's a laundry list here. Jesus Christ. That spider tack issue.
Oh, the sticky stuff.
I don't know what to say about that. I mean,
I don't know that that's necessarily him.
well, I don't know, but it doesn't appear. It seems like only the pitcher stats that we're using it got worse. The hitters are pretty much the same as they were before, right? Like there hasn't been a league-wide jump in walks to strikeout ratio, for example, right?
No.
That's not happened. There hasn't been, like the league-wide average hasn't gone up. I don't know about the deeper analytics like exit velo and shit like that, but I haven't heard any stories about all that stuff changing.
I guess maybe one thing you would see more of is like barrel rate, right? If they're not getting the break they would
maybe.
want or something like that. But I don't know, who knows?
But you should see that in the home run rate and the doubles rate, like slugging percentage in general, right? And I don't think there's been a massive increase in that either.
No, I mean pitching is kind of shitty this year. I was looking at it today. There's only 4 dudes with an ERA under 3, or 6 dudes with an ERA under 3, and like all the pitcher. I think Zach Wheeler leads the major leagues in wins above replacement for pitchers.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. And then lastly, with
I know, right? But that's the reaction. It's like, what? How the fuck is it him? But
That's
like,
our actual ace.
That can't be real.
that lockout, man, it didn't last too long. I think it was like 40-something days or whatever it was. But him coming out with that statement blaming the players, meanwhile they had record profit share for the owners, was just like, all right, dude, fuck off.
Listen, he came out of the gate slow, and he's learned from his mistakes. Manfield's not that bad of a commissioner.
Well, now we can
Yeah.
say that
But
today
deeply-
because the ratings
Maybe
are up
he
and
was
the
not
attendance is up. But
qualified or ready for the role, and he's matured into
deeply unlikable, which is fine.
Yes.
And because he's been a big
So is
dickhole.
Goodell.
He's been a big dickhole to
Yeah, I'm
A's
not sure
fans
he's
this year.
worse than Goodell.
well, likability wise, it's the same, right? I hate Goodell equally as Manfred, but Goodell
Bettman-
has run a goddamn
Is Bettman still in the
monstrous
NHL?
organization.
I don't know.
Yeah, Bettman is that guy.
Nobody likes him.
No, everybody does. He made all the right moves. Do you remember during
No.
COVID?
No.
During COVID, he was like,
Ask-
"Get your asses on the
Ask
on the
real
ice.
hockey
Let's
fans. They
go."
fucking hate Gary Bettman.
I don't know, man. He was the one that got those guys out there. But good for baseball. It's fun. Any big trades coming up that we need to look out for?
I don't know that the Scherzer one's going to be topped.
What about Juan Soto?
If the Padres aren't selling fucking Josh Hader, then they're not selling Juan Soto, I would imagine, because
Yeah,
they
that's-
really want to keep Juan Soto.
That's the word on the street that they're not going to sell anybody now, which is interesting because
Padres?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other word on the street is that there's no bats on the market. Like nobody's selling bats. There's some pitchers, no bats. So everyone's kind of trying to shop. I guess it's a seller's market in that regard, but nobody's got shit to sell or shit that they want to sell. The Cardinals don't want to move Arenado or Goldschmidt. The Cardinals would move like maybe a lower tier dude like Tyler O'Neill. But yeah, it's kind of bare shelves at the moment, I would say.
Well, CJ Crone and who's the other guy?
Randall Grichuk.
Grichuk, yeah, he's good. Crone's a mid-level first baseman, but
Gritch.
he'll hit some home runs for you. Grichuk is a 300 hitter. Like he's legit, dude.
But these are like I don't know if either of these guys even knew their name, who those people were.
Yeah.
Like,
Randall
it's
Richard-
not. There's no big names
I, mean,
going.
I believe he was an all-star a couple of times in Toronto, right?
Or with the Cardinals, maybe. He
Maybe,
had some
yeah.
good times with them.
But not a huge name.
The Rays just acquired Aaron Savali from
from
Guardians. That's weird, man, because it's strange. Both teams are in playoff contention. That one would trade a pitcher to the other here.
You could just not have a pitcher on the mound and compete for the AL Central, so it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, that's a fucking triple A division.
Yeah, it's strange. Very odd, but the Rays needed to do it. Orioles just overtook them for first place there. Either way, the last half of the season will be fun.
I mean, that's a good trade for Savali's good. That's a good trade for Tampa Bay. I'm surprised.
It's a great trade.
I'm surprised that Cleveland let him go, frankly.
I don't know what.
Kind of in the race.
What?
They're
Aren't the
half game
Guardians
out of
kinda in the
first
race?
in the
They're
Central.
completely in the race.
Yeah, they're in it. That's what's weird about it.
They've done this before. They've sold at the deadline while being in contention. They got like a minor league first baseman, so maybe they thought they were going to. I don't know. The AL Central will just make you angry and break your brain and make you hate baseball.
I mean, to be honest, if they're not planning on making moves to contend, the smarter move, from my perspective, would have been to put Emmanuel Clase on the block, because he's one of the best. He's like an Edwin Diaz level closer, right? Younger though, I think he's like 25 or 26 or something like that. And the one thing you definitely don't need if you're not planning on contending immediately is a fucking closer.
I know,
right?
right?
I mean, that's the one. Like everything else, you like, maybe you get them because they bring fans in and shit. It's a starting pitcher, so once every 5 days, you know you're going to have a good day. Or it's a guy that hits a bunch of moon shots, so that draws fans in. If you don't go into the ninth with a lead, what the fuck is the point of having a generationally talented closer? Like, you could trade him to one of these contenders for 2 or 3 prospects right now, for sure. This move doesn't make any sense to me.
So we've got about a day left, like 24 hours, a little less probably than 24 hours, I would imagine.
Well, doesn't it? I thought it ended at midnight tonight.
Oh, is it midnight tonight? I thought it was.
It's usually
midday,
5 o'clock.
August 1st.
Yeah, it's usually
Let's
5
see.
o'clock in the afternoon, unless they changed it.
If it's midnight tonight, then fuck, man.
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
No, it's 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Our
mean
time.
anything. I remember there's always trades like 30 days after the deadline.
No, that's not a thing anymore.
just do
The
waivers.
waiver wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got rid of
not
it.
a thing anymore.
They got rid of it.
All right, don't hate. I mean, I
You're
hate
a baseball fan.
That. I hate that.
You're a baseball fan. It's fine, dude. You're allowed to be angry about it. Real quick here, we'll talk about our sponsors. We're brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your first deposits all the way up to $1,000. Thank God football is back. Yeah, I'll bet on the fucking game on Thursday, dude. And I will post it in Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook. You can see all my bet slips in there. And I don't give a shit, dude. I don't give a shit if it's fucking junky shit. I do it every single year, and I will take that under. I'll try to tease it if they'll let me. I don't know. We'll see come game day here coming up. But they do have all the first week 1 spreads for the NFL available right now. The biggest game of that week, in my opinion, of week 1 is the Bills against the Jets on 9/11. That's going to be a great game. The spread has come out. It is Bills -1, which is a tad bit surprising to me, just simply because the Jets have not had all those guys on the field together, and chances are they're probably not going to in preseason
Well,
either.
the Bills only had one legit running back, and he's hurt, right? Didn't that happen?
He got jet skied, right?
Yeah,
Something, yeah.
He got
jet ski.
kamikaze with a jet ski.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. I know Zeke is meeting with the Patriots, or
Yeah.
he did over the weekend. But either way, week 1 spreads are up for college football and the NFL right now, as well as the Super Bowl, the playoffs, and, of course, the College Football National Championship and the Heisman Trophy. Odds are also up. D'Anthony and I will be doing way too early prediction shows, as we do every single year next week, regarding college football and the NFL. As always, all those odds that we give you will be from mybookie.com.
Spoiler: Georgia makes the playoff.
Oh, Georgia's got the easiest schedule I've ever seen. So if they don't make the playoff, then there's something deeply wrong up in Athens. I can tell you that. We'll take a peek at their schedule next week, but Jesus Christ, you can already pencil them in already. Weird thing is, man, I think I've got LSU coming against them in a repeat of last year's SEC championship.
LSU's got after game 1, their schedule's pretty easy too.
Yeah, well, they do have to go to Bama, so that'll be tough. But right now, Bama doesn't have a quarterback, so we'll see. Fun time to get the odds in though, because you can buy Buy real low on some of these teams if you want to. Next up, drinkinbrostickets.com. Any event you want to go to, including any of these preseason games, if you're bored, you want to go to the Major League Baseball playoffs, any concerts, any ticket you can think of on the planet is available there. It's about $10 cheaper than StubHub over there, and we appreciate the support on that. Since we're talking about the NFL, we'll go ahead and switch over to the NFL now. Crazy story over the weekend here. So Sean Payton comes out against the former coach of the Broncos, Mr. Hackett, and he says that was the worst coaching job I've seen in the history of the NFL. Usually NFL coaches don't bag on NFL coaches like that, and Aaron Rodgers was pretty pissed off about it. Apparently he's homies with Hackett, and he's on the squad this year for the Jets. Interestingly enough, they're playing each other week 4. If you're Sean Payton, why talk shit about another NFL coach, especially against the coach that's going to be coaching Aaron Rodgers in a game that's coming up in week 4?
Maybe to hype up his own team. You know, team was good. Russell Wilson's good. Nathaniel Hackett was trash.
I mean, he is a really bad coach.
He is a
I don't
really
think
bad
that
coach.
Sean Payton said anything inaccurate.
It wasn't a great year. Holy shit, man. I mean, that's like all we talked about all NFL season until we finally got tired of talking about how bad they were. You know what I mean? Then we just didn't talk about the Broncos at all.
Yeah.
But there was nothing positive that came out of last year.
What is Sean Payton going to do with Russell Wilson? Like,
Bounties, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I mean,
I'm sure he can do something.
do you think so?
I mean, Drew Brees at the end of his career could barely throw 20 yards.
And
but Drew Brees was 40. Russell Wilson is
Still
I think,
young.
32, 33.
Yeah, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
I mean, I don't know that you can necessarily say, like, oh, man, a good coach can come in and fix anything, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, fucking look at Belichick now without Brady. So I don't necessarily think that, like, Peyton is going to be a fix-all, but you definitely can't underrate how bad a bad coach can fuck everything up so fucking bad. Just sink the ship to the bottom of the fucking ocean just teleport it to the bottom of the ocean.
Ocean Gate.
Yeah.
Just Ocean Gate your
like
team.
a bad NFL coach, a bad football coach in general, but a bad NFL coach for sure can fuck the most unfuckable thing up.
Yeah, I agree. It's still
Chargers.
odd.
Yeah, goddamn.
Just look at the Chargers right now.
Yeah,
They're loaded.
It's still odd, though, because you got Hard Knocks coming out and all that stuff. Aaron Rodgers did give an interview about it over the weekend. That'll be a great season of Hard Knocks, especially if they end up getting Dalvin Cook. As of today, though, he is not yet signed. So the rumor was he was going to sign yesterday on Hard Knocks, and that was going to go into the season. I don't know what's holding that up at this point.
Well, and if they haven't done something about the run game and the offensive line in Denver, it doesn't matter what the fuck Sean Payton has in store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson got sacked 55 times last year, tied for the league lead. And maybe some of that is his own incompetence, I guess. You have to lay some of that off at the quarterback, but not all of it, right?
To my knowledge, I don't think Denver got a running back, though, in the offseason.
I don't think so.
I'd be more worried about the line play.
Both. Yeah.
Running backs don't matter. Do you see Jonathan Taylor? Potentially
Yes,
might not get paid.
That was the next one I wanted to chat about here because that is a wild, wild fucking story. Last week we talked about all the running backs getting together on Zoom, having a meeting saying we got to do something about not getting paid and everybody getting franchise tags and everything else. 2 days after that, Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, said that was bullshit. These guys should not have gotten together. You're getting paid exactly what you deserve. To which Taylor went into his office, had a meeting with him, and said, I want to be traded. And then maybe 2 hours after he got out of that meeting, Irsay comes out and he said, I'm not trading him now. I'm not trading him in October. He's not going anywhere. The biggest statement he made, though, was that the NFL will go on. Whether Jonathan Taylor dies tomorrow or if I die tomorrow, the league goes on and nothing is going to change with this.
Taylor shows up to camp, complains about a back injury, goes into medical, and apparently they're trying to say this is a pre-existing condition and he might not get paid for the season.
And that he did it in the offseason. And that the back injury was never disclosed, and they're saying he did that on his own. Now, here's the Colts' biggest problem, which happened a couple hours ago. The backup running back for the Colts, Zach Morris, suffered a broken arm and is now out 4 to 6 weeks. So what are the Colts going to do without any running backs then?
What the Colts are going to do with a running back or not.
I was actually amped about the Colts this year. With Richardson and Taylor, that's a fun fucking team, dude. You're just going to run him more?
I guess, man.
I'm high on
okay.
Richardson, but like it's his rookie year. I don't have
Yeah.
the highest of expectations for.
Yeah,
year one.
it's kind of whatever at that point. You know, all this running back talk reminds me of a softcore history episode we did about a group of people who went on strike.
Oh yeah,
And
got themselves removed from a job.
it was one of the greatest
Tell me
story
the
of
FAA.
No, we're talking about elevator operators.
Yeah, elevator
yeah.
operators. They went on strike to get better pay, and someone was like, "What if we just had the people in the elevator push the buttons?"
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen to running backs necessarily
Could.
in the NFL. But
It's
I don't know if you saw, I can't find it anywhere, but Travis Etienne was on, or he got interviewed at their training camp, right? Wherever, I don't know where Jacksonville does their training camp, but his take on the whole thing was like, it's a market, right? Like you have to understand what your value is, but if your value isn't being perceived as what you want, then you got to elevate your game a little bit, do something different. And we're seeing it, by the way. McCaffrey probably was the first one to start doing it, although from him, it's just because he's such a great freak athlete that you can't not throw the ball to him all the time, right?
Yeah.
But then Debo made it, like Debo Samuel is kind of like an example for these guys that are pissed off about not getting paid.
But Debo's a receiver.
Sure, yeah.
Like he's not.
But there's nothing-
They put him at running back out of necessity.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But use that as a model. You know what I mean? Like if you're Jonathan Taylor, you're not getting paid what you think you should be getting paid. Fucking, learn how to catch the ball better, or be a dual threat or whatever.
if you're a running back who can't catch the ball or doesn't catch the ball well in the league in 2023, then you almost borderline unemployable.
So insurance.
I agree.
There's
yeah.
the ability to catch the ball, and there's the ability to line up in the slot and be a fourth receiver.
That too,
right?
like you need to be. It's not a running back's not a running back anymore. Like there's no fucking Jerome Bettis coming through that door anymore. Like it's just not fucking happening. You are a receiver in the backfield probably first, and then I mean like, and a guy like that is going to get big money. That's what you have to be. You don't need to be a goal line dude. They can bring some fucking truck in to be a goal line dude. And then if the front office wants to be fucking dickholes and be like, well, you only had 7 touchdowns last year. I mean, then if you don't have an agent good enough to be like, well, yeah, asshole, because the guy you pay league minimum is a fucking dump truck, and this guy's the one that got you all the yards to get down there. Like the skill set's totally different now. Like you can't.
It definitely is, and some of it isn't just that. Some of it is just how shit evolves over time. So linebackers and running backs were the most important players on the field in the 80s and 90s, right? Until quarterbacks started to come up that list a little bit. Because remember...
It was the West Coast offense that really changed it.
Like, what's his nuts? Troy Aikman, I think his career high in touchdowns was 23 or some shit. And he's a 3-time Super Bowl winning guy. And it wasn't like they didn't have receivers on that team.
Right.
And tight ends. That was a good team. The game evolved, so the game became about protecting the quarterback, which means you spend more money on receivers and more money on offensive linemen. I think offensive lineman is the second highest paid position now, right? Behind quarterback.
Close.
I think.
Yeah.
So now it's like you do that, and then you obviously that shit shit rolls downhill. Right? There's just not an infinite amount of money, although there is technically, right? Like the owners could pay them whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah, they could.
It's not like they don't have the money to do it. They're just self-imposing a salary cap so they don't have to pay people. That's what it's doing. Like they're like, oh, so I'd love to pay it, but the salary cap, like, dude, you did that. You put the salary cap.
Yeah, you did that.
For what purpose?
I know.
You know what I mean?
But back to this, the Colts thing. I mean, they're in a division is up in the air. I mean, you got Jacksonville, which we probably expect to win it.
Jacksonville's going to be good.
We hope. But then you got the Tennessee Titans, trash. You got the Colts, who knows? And then you got the Texans,
The AFC is
Not
so
great.
fucking deep, though, that I don't know that that division puts more than one team in the playoffs.
I don't either. But you can
even
still compete against these teams. Like
I think Jacksonville runs away with that division.
Look, we think so right now, but anything can happen. And certainly the best running back in that division is Taylor. I mean, he had the most yards in the league last year. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I wanted to see him play. And with Zach Moss out, this will certainly improve his position. But I don't think Irsay gives a fuck.
No.
Like I don't even think he gives a fuck about winning.
At this point,
He got one.
yeah.
He got one.
It's like, what else? What else motivates you at that point, I guess? I don't know. Winning another one?
I don't know. He's got a pill addiction, so
Yeah.
Does he? That makes me like him.
Yeah, but he's a billionaire. I mean, it's not like he's not going to run out of money for pills if the NFL vanishes tomorrow.
Right. Like this guy just wants pills and whores and to go to his suite every Sunday and have a good time.
It's a great life.
And Jonathan
isn't it?
Taylor is harshing his buzz.
Everything you just said, it sounds like a great life.
I didn't say it was bad.
Just pills, whores, and then just going to watch your own football team that you own from your suite.
But yeah, I mean,
But
it's
you
not
live
going to
in
be a good.
Indy.
Yeah.
So.
But he kind of grew. No, he grew. I guess he's from Baltimore originally.
I don't mind. Indy's all right. If you're, I mean, you're the big dick in that
It's
town.
called Naptown for a reason.
Yeah, but it's still, you're the big dick there. Like it's, you got to be a big dick somewhere. Indy's a big dick, small pond sitch.
It's the Kirkland brand of American cities.
True. At least it's not Cincinnati. I wouldn't want to go to Cincinnati. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, with that, we'll see what happens with those guys, and then Cowboys running back Ronald Jones, who they signed to back up Pollard, is just got suspended 2 games for PEDs.
How about them Cowboys?
That Deuce kid out of TCU though looks pretty goddamn good in spring.
Deuce,
I mean, training.
Kansas State.
K-State.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. His dad's one
Deuce
of
Vaughn,
the
yeah.
scouts. Yeah, he looked fucking good, man.
He's quick. He's small.
He's Darren Sproles 2.0.
Yeah.
I hope so. It'd be fun for
I
those
don't.
guys. Why not?
Because he's a
Oh,
Cowboy?
they're in your division. That's right. I forget. I always forget the Eagles exist.
We were in the
Sorry
Super
about
Bowl.
that. I know.
A year ago.
And you know,
We were there. We were winning the game.
I know. And then Pat Mahomes just said, "Oh yeah, I got to start playing again," and then it was over like that. Wild. Who beats that team this year?
Probably a lot of teams.
They're favored right now on
I
mybookie.com
mean, like
to win the Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl?
I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to win the Super Bowl again.
It's hard. It's so hard to win
They're
back
not
to
going
back.
back to back.
I don't think it's a good bet to take them back to back.
No.
It hasn't. It's only happened twice in the last 40 years.
Three
And it was-
times, I think, in the last 40 years.
Wait, who was the other one?
It'd be the
Denver.
Broncos,
Yeah, that's right.
Patriots,
Denver,
and
Yeah,
Cowboys.
so Cowboys, Patriots, Broncos. I mean, it's not, and those are kind of not far apart from each other. It hasn't.
Broncos,
Patriots ever
Patriots
do it?
was within a decade.
Yeah,
of each
Yeah.
other.
It was within. Let's see, it was 92, 93, and then 97, 98.
Yep.
Cowboys, yes.
Yeah.
Cowboys and Broncos.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of extra bullshit off the field for Mahomes this year.
Oh, with his wife,
And his brother. And
but he's used to it. I mean,
I think it's going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
I don't know if they lock that kid up. They'll certainly get it off their plate. You know.
No, he'll probably have a reality show inside jail.
I'd
Keep his
watch.
fucking mouth shut. Is it weird that the 49ers have no idea who their quarterback's going to be, but they have the second shortest odds to
They're
win the
loaded.
NFC?
Well, Brock Purdy has been cleared, so he's going to start the whole season and play the whole season. And maybe they knew that all along. I bitched for the last 4 months on this show that they didn't have a quarterback. So maybe they knew that he was ahead of schedule and was going to be able to come back. And they clearly love this fucking guy,
What happens when Brock Purdy sucks ass after week 5?
Cam Newton.
Like,
Like, I mean, what are you going to do? Like,
Not-
who else is left?
Well, they have Sam Darnold.
Oh God! If he won look, that team's defense is so nasty.
Yeah. What if Sam
Darnold could do
it. He
He
goes-
might be able to win it.
He goes full Big Dick Nick and steals a title?
let's go.
Darnell back in fucking California.
Yeah.
I know.
That's where he thrives.
Jesus Christ.
Golden boy.
He was.
And they still
Him
have-
at USC was a big deal.
They still have Trey Lance, too. I don't know what.
That's right.
I don't know
forgot
why.
about him. He's invisible too. Son of a bitch, man. Speaking of the Eagles, though, somebody caught a screenshot of fucking Jalen Hurts' screen homepage on his telephone there, and it was him
the old telephone.
walking away in shame after he lost the Super Bowl.
Sure.
And Eagles fans are amped about that. They're like, "Hey, man, way to go!" I like that shit too. Like at
owning
least
it.
he's and he's motivated and he wants to fucking win.
He's never not motivated, right? He
I think
true.
I could
squats
tell in
600
the-
pounds. He's a giant locker room
I could tell
guy.
he had kind of gotten disengaged in the second half of the Super Bowl last year. Like you could tell, like I saw the fire go out.
Yeah.
In
It
his
extinguished
eyes.
in his eyes.
Yeah,
you could
it
tell.
just seemed
After
like-
he fumbled, he's just like, man, I really screwed that up.
Yeah, it seemed like he got lazy from what I could tell from his body language.
Yeah.
Quitter.
Yeah. And he definitely wouldn't have led them back to take the lead if
That
the
was
defense
the-
got to
no.
stop.
That
If
was
there wasn't a pass
exactly-
interference that didn't exist.
Yeah, that's
Which one?
The pass interference that changed the game, and then the Chiefs kneeled it out and kicked the field
Oh,
goal
that
to
was
win the game.
definitely a pass.
It was a
interference.
pass
For sure or
interference,
not.
and I
Yes.
kind of put that on Jalen too because it's easy for a lot of Eagles players to get distracted by his showboating, and I think that ultimately caused
Right.
Yeah.
PI.
Because what Jalen Hurts is known for is being a me guy.
He just won't stop talking about himself.
He won't
Yeah.
stop talking
He won't
about
shut the fuck
himself
up.
or celebrate or that, because that's when you think showboater.
Jalen.
When you think Jalen Hurts.
In this stadium, though, because you guys saw the wrong shot on television. Like, that grab came before the play that
You don't
they
call
kept
that.
showing.
You don't call that.
It was a good 12
You don't
inches
call
of that
that.
jersey out.
You just don't call that.
Sure.
Let him play.
Sure. Either way, they lost, and we'll see what happens to them this year. Do you have the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl this year?
Probably not.
Who's coming out, though?
If it's not the Eagles, it's the 49ers.
49ers.
Give me them boys. Wait, what I'm rooting for is Stetson Bennett to lead the Rams
That'd be sick.
That'd be awful.
That'd be so sick.
to a conference title.
The sleeper team that I'm putting money on is Seattle.
Sure. Take that defense.
Fuck the defense. They could score 60 a game, and it won't
They
matter.
can't.
They have the best receivers and running back.
Gino's not putting up 60. I
there.
like Gino. Gino's
I
not
hate
score 60 a
Gino.
game.
I hate Gino. And
The
I'm saying
NFL, nobody puts up 60 a game.
that. You're pretty close. If
No.
the Chiefs actually played every single game, they could score way more than 60 points.
I don't think that's true.
Fuck yeah. How many did they average last year? 35 a game?
Nowhere near 40 or 50.
Because they're lazy, but how many did they score in the Super Bowl?
It's
Shit, when
not
they dropped 40 in the
lazy.
Super Bowl?
It's just the NFL. So you go against talent. It's not like college. College, you can blow the doors off people because the talent is not like the teams you play
disparity's
are
huge, yeah.
You had a guy that was doing ring around the posy against a team live in an NFL game and threw a touchdown.
The Chiefs scored 29.2 points per game last year.
And not 30.
Even so, I mean,
But led the
fuck.
league. But it's the NFL.
Yeah.
You
Led the
can't, you just
league.
can't do that.
You know,
I mean,
Well, they usually pull them when they're up.
the fourth shortest odds from the NFC to win Super Bowl is the fucking Lions.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
they're good.
Lions are going to get a lot of hype, and I think they're going to
They're gonna flame out.
If they would have spent their draft picks better in the first round, I would have said maybe, but they did not. And I don't know how that works out for those guys.
Shit, there's not after the Lions.
They're playing they're playing the Chiefs opening night.
After the Lions, the next NFC team is the Seahawks, but it's after 5.
What's
AFC
the
teams.
Seahawks odds right now?
3,200.
Honestly, the Saints with Derek
32-1.
Carr are going to be fine.
The Saints
in
are
the
at
picture.
3,600.
Yeah, I bet you the Saints win 10 games.
9 or 10, just out of the
Just because of the division
Yeah.
they're in? Maybe.
I think they're double-digit wins for sure. I might take that over/under on the season right now, depending on what it's at.
The odds will be up if they're not already on my bookie, and we'll go through those. The over/unders for team wins. We usually do that every year. I think it was down one year, but that might have been the COVID year, D'Anthony. But I'll double check on that. I'd say, I hate to say this. I'll
Saints
sound
are
like a fucking homer.
Saints are
but-
at 9.5 over under wins.
So that's it.
I'd probably
That's
take that.
actually pretty on point.
Yeah, that's
That would
right.
be, that would be
right
a
there.
10 and 8 season.
I could see them win 9
Or
games.
10 and 7.
Yeah.
They could win the division by like 3 games if they win 9 games.
Is it? They play 17 games?
Yes.
Okay. So that would put them at
10 and 7.
10 and 7.
10 wins is the new 9 wins. So a 10-win
Yeah.
team is kind of mid now.
I mean,
9-8-1.
They've got 6 wins on the schedule, right? Like everybody in their division twice.
Right.
They shouldn't
Right.
lose any of those games.
I think the Falcons might eke this out.
Maybe.
In that disgusting division.
Carolina's going to be okay.
It might be. I like Bryce Young. He just got named the starter, by the way, last week. So he is their guy week 1, and there's no debate about it. Everybody in the locker room loves that fucking kid. I loved him when he played in that bowl game last year. Ton of respect out of him and Will Anderson for playing the entire game and finishing out the season, even though they had no reason to, because he was going to go first in the draft. What is, just out of curiosity, Anthony, you on there now? What's the Falcons over under?
Probably 1.
If it's 7, I'll take the over.
Take the over?
Yeah. Here's what I think that Taylor Heineke kid will come in.
Now, the worst team in probably all football is going to be the Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, with Baker Mayfield, and they have no running backs. No
I
nothing.
don't know,
I
man.
mean,
It's
they don't
they
have anything.
they stripped everything down to win that one Super Bowl.
What's weird is I think
Which-
Mike Evans is still there, and I think they have good receivers, but Baker Mayfield sucks.
Falcons aren't listed yet, probably because they haven't chosen the quarterback.
They haven't, yeah. Whew. Either way, football can't get here fast enough. I'm real excited about that. Let's talk about golf. Golf over the weekend.
No,
Holy
go to the
Christ.
fights.
No,
Skip golf. Golf
no.
doesn't matter. The 3M's
Where
Disgusting.
people are asking when's the next good golf tournaments here, because this was awful this weekend.
playoffs start in a
British
couple
British Open was awful last weekend. Before that, so when do the playoffs
Go
start?
to the fights. We're
when
not talking.
When
We're
are
not.
the FedEx?
We're not justifying the 3M with a segment on the show
Why?
because it's gross.
It is gross. Are we at the end of the season here? Should we
Yes.
stop betting on golf?
Wyndham's the last week, and then it goes to the playoffs.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And then how many FedEx Cup
It's 3.
events are there? Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's all done after that?
And then the Ryder Cup, and then they start the season over again.
Okay. But the Ryder Cup is during football season, correct?
Yeah, it's like the first week of September, second week of September.
I'll be checking out of that then. So the last one for us will be the FedEx Cup on ours. Now we'll go to the fights on this one. Great fights across the board over the weekend. Boxing was fucking amazing, dude. Crawford versus Spence. Huge UFC card. We'll start with Crawford versus Spence first. Unbelievably surprised at the fucking domination of Crawford. There is a rematch clause in there. Spence said he would exercise that immediately.
It's not going to happen, I don't think.
It doesn't have a choice. So if Spence wants it, it has to be executed.
Somebody on his team needs to talk him out of it. He just got beaten to a pulp for 9 rounds.
Well, here's what he said. And he said it was not an excuse, but he goes, I did come down 2 weight classes to do it. And he goes, on the rematch, it'd be great to go up a weight class and then fight there. He goes, it's not an excuse, but
the weight classes in boxing are
matters.
like 3 pounds.
Yeah.
And if there's one sport it doesn't matter, it's boxing.
who lost? Was it Canelo?
Like grappling matters.
Did Canelo lose when he went up in
He
weight?
did,
He
yeah.
did, yeah. Yeah. So, look, he was supposed to be the guy and the best in the world.
But Canelo went up like 12 weight classes. Like, not for that fight, but he started out so low and he just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah. I'd like to see the rematch. I thought the fight was fun to watch, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
I
fun
enjoyed it.
that he just got beaten down the entire time, but
Spence fired away the whole fight. Like,
I know, but Bud even did like a nut grab and pointed to another boxer mid-round.
He's great. He's now 40-0. The question on the internet was, is he better than Floyd Mayweather? I don't know. I mean, there was more hype with Floyd, and there
could
was
fight
bigger
Floyd
names.
now.
There was bigger names when Floyd was there. I mean, Floyd was going up against Pacquiao, De La Hoya. Some say past their prime.
Because Floyd needed a paycheck.
Yes, he
Didn't
sure
Floyd
does.
not go up against Pacquiao until
It was like 10 years.
It's 10 years too late.
Right, yeah.
He won pretty easily in that. I was at the De La Hoya fight. He beat the shit out of De La Hoya.
so
It wasn't even
according
close.
to these dicks,
and the Canelo, he beat Canelo too.
the return fight could take place at 154 instead of 147, but so the loser has to exercise the clause, the rematch clause, but the winner gets to pick the weight class.
Well, if you're Crawford, do you want to go up 7 pounds? Does it even matter to him?
I don't know that he cares,
I don't think he does.
and I don't
either.
think it's going to matter in the fight either. Frankly,
Me neither.
I mean,
I
it
don't,
would,
I don't think anyone's interested in this.
I think they would.
It was such a thorough beatdown that
Yeah, like Crawford was clean. Like Crawford didn't look like he was touched, and Spence looked like he had just run through like a fucking butcher shop. You know what I mean? Like he was just covered in blood.
we should have known it was a bad omen when Earl came out and it was "Bitch, I'm from Texas" live performance and the mic cut out.
Mike cut out then, and then Eminem walked out Crawford. So
That was a bad sign in my eyes, but I guess I don't like Eminem.
yeah,
We're going off
with the
vibes.
beard.
In general, I don't like Eminem.
Oh, okay, you've never liked Eminem.
Never liked Eminem.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
All right. Jesus Christ. Okay, you're the one person. It's nice to meet you. We'll flip on over to UFC 291 here. Great card, top to bottom there. What stood out for you?
Well, obviously, the greatest 4 minutes in combat sports. Derek Lewis with a flying knee, stripping down to his undies after knocking
Unbelievable.
him out, and then doing the DX suck it
Yep.
over and over again.
I like I like how he did it too because he did it sensual.
He
You
did.
know what I mean? Like
his hips were into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
like-
when he slid across the ring too, he was fucking the ring for a little bit.
Because when
Makes sense.
X-Pac would do it or Triple H would do it, they would just be like bang, bang, bang. But
It
like,
was more of like a sensual.
yeah, he was
chop.
romantic with the way he did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun.
It was great, and he's a free agent, so maybe the PFL will sign him to fight Francis. I was wrong on the live stream, so he would be guaranteed $2 million to fight Francis.
Not
That's
eight.
still a lot of fucking money.
Francis gets 8, he would get 2.
That's more money than you would get fighting
More
for the championship in the UFC.
Yeah, he wouldn't make $2 million signing
No.
like a 4-fight contract for the UFC.
No, dude. And I was thinking about that because we watched them, side by side, obviously at the live show on Saturday nights. If you have a kid coming up and they say to you, "Hey, Dad, I want to be in the UFC or boxing," at this point, you got to still say boxing because UFC fighters make nothing.
I know, but also boxers though all end up with Parkinson's.
Yeah, what I would tell my kid is be like,
Quality
hey,
of life
I'd
not
be
as
like, hey,
good.
sweetie, look out the window. What do we call that? And he'd be like, a cul-de-sac. And I'd be like, that's right, sweetie. We don't box on this block. That's not what happens in this neighborhood.
We know some UFC fighters who are having some problems now. So
If you get
but
flash
it's
KO
like
too many times,
it's boxing. The data on head injuries is pretty clear. Boxing is way worse
why is that?
because you have 12 or 16 ounce gloves and you're just pounding it. Look at do you remember how the Spence fight ended? With him just taking rocket shots to the side of the head, like 4 or 5 of them in a row.
Yeah, you got
and the
knocked down 3 times.
ref called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
To
ref
his
just had to
credit.
call it. Like, it wasn't there was no actual knockout or anything like that. It was just
Well,
like,
he'd already been knocked down like 3 or 4
right.
times.
But it was just like, all right, he's dead.
Yeah.
But when you get popped in the jaw with a 6 ounce glove, you're getting the full weight of that. You know what I mean? And it's going to snap your brain around and make you pass out for a minute. With boxing, it isn't always like that, unless you're in the heavyweight category, right? Like these smaller guys, they still beat the Christ out of each other, but it's not that much energy and it's cushioned like that, and you just take repeated blow to the head.
Yeah.
I think like 8 or 9 boxers die a year, and nobody's ever died in UFC
Really?
or PFL or Bellator.
They also don't they just get, I mean, the matches are longer and it's only punching, right? So you're just taking way more headshots for way longer.
That's true, yeah, because that was a 12-round fight on Saturday.
That's 36 minutes,
yeah.
right?
I-
If it
yeah.
goes the distance, which is longer than even a title fight in UFC.
Yeah, I mean, Poirier got knocked out cold and then just popped right back up.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's fine, right?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see the presser afterwards, but
He
we'll go
actually
to
I mean,
was laughing about it.
He
He's like-
shouldn't
Was
fight
he?
he shouldn't fight for 6 months probably, but
He's not going to because he's got enough money and he's got enough like kind of influence in UFC that he can kind of pick who he wants to fight. Like all these up and coming 155ers, he doesn't want to fight, and he doesn't need to because he's just going to wait for Nate Diaz to box Jake Paul this weekend. Nate Diaz is going to do that. He's then going to re-sign with the UFC, and then next year, sometime in the summer, we'll get Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier.
Okay. That's
And then-
your prediction?
Poirier will fight him, beat Nate. Nate will then fight Conor for the third fight.
What if the knockout is bad this Saturday, which I predict it will be?
I mean, Nate's already a mush brain.
I mean, do you think he comes back at all, though? If it's a very bad knockout, do you think he comes back? Like, Askren never came back to do anything ever again after
Ben
that.
Askren was never a striker.
Okay.
He was a world-class wrestler. And he's trying to come back to fight Jorge in a MMA fight.
Come on. Really?
Yeah, because like if Jorge doesn't hit him with the flying knee in 30 or 3 seconds or whatever, Ben Askren probably wins that fight.
Wow. That's crazy. That sounds like something Giorgio would
That's
say.
not crazy. Ben Askren would have took him down, and Jorge has no answer for that.
Askren is, I mean, we were at Mizzou at the same time. Like, Askren is one of the best wrestlers in American history. Like, he's insane.
He just can't stand up and punch.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to, right?
yeah.
So
Well,
Masvidal caught him coming down, so he caught him on the perfect shot.
Yeah.
And but I think if you run that back, Askren probably beats him.
That'd be hilarious.
the other factor is how much is Diaz making on this fight?
He's making a good chunk of change on this, which is why he's doing it in
Yeah.
the first place.
Like, is there gonna be any
He's been
points?
He's been pretty open about it, where he said, "Look, I am strictly doing this for the money."
But he's no selling it.
What's that?
He's no selling it. He's like, yeah, don't watch this fight.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's like, who cares?
That's what he said.
Because he hates Jake Paul so much.
No shit.
He's like, you don't have to watch this.
So
I'm already-
his money's guaranteed. So
Yeah.
then he doesn't have a cut of the
That's
back end of this.
really fucking funny.
That is really funny, actually. But if you're Jake, you knock him the fuck out then.
Yeah, whenever the script says to.
Yeah. I don't think Nate's like that. I don't think Nate would agree to get knocked out. There's no way.
I think I think this is going to be terrible, actually. I think
The fight itself?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think Nate will just protect himself the whole
Who
time.
owns this fight? Is it DAZN?
I believe it's DAZN, yeah. Yeah. It's down the road in Dallas. We're undecided on this one, but
I think we pass because I don't think it's going to be very good.
all right. We'll chat about it off air, but I just can't see Diaz taking a dive.
I don't think he's going to. That's
just
why
think he's gonna get knocked out.
That's why it's going to be bad.
So you think he's just going to cover up the entire time?
He's going to have cardio, and he's just going to kind of like throw his shots here and there. And
Because it is a 10-round fight, by the way. They did move it up to 10 rounds, so that cardio is important. That's 30 minutes of intense fucking running around. Jake has already done it once, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Either way, if we don't go in person, I'll definitely have it on.
I think Jake will be gassed by like round 5.
I don't think it goes 5. I got Jake in 3. I got a knockout.
What's the longest one of his fights has gone so far?
It went the distance.
What was the
They were
distance?
doing 8, I think.
Yeah,
right.
it was Fury,
Yeah.
the younger Fury. That went to full bone. So yeah, we'll see.
I think Jake wins, but it'll be like really sloppy for the most of it.
I'm gonna go a knockout. I'm gonna look at the odds here in my bookie when I get off the show of a knockout in 2 or 3 is what I've got. Actually, D'Anthony, it says it's ESPN Plus is the pay-per-view. So
It's interesting.
well,
He signed with the PFL.
He signed with the PFL,
so, it's
so they
probably
own it.
through some channel that way.
Yeah, and I will say this from a ticket standpoint: it's at American Airlines Arena in Dallas where the Mavericks play, and it's sold out. Tickets are fucking expensive for this goddamn
Yeah,
thing.
Dallas seems like the type of place a lot of Jake Paul fans live.
Yeah, probably.
If I'm being totally honest.
And then we'll
I mean,
wrap.
well, Plano, they come down to Dallas.
But yeah, pour one out for Tony. His career's probably over.
It should be.
He got choked out by Bobby Green.
Fucking awful.
Chiesa should retire too. That was the worst display of fighting I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like Kevin Holland, even after the fact, was like he needs to go back into the commentating booth.
Yep.
He needs to retire from fighting because he's not a fighter anymore.
No, I agree. We'll close this out here with the Women's World Cup. I actually enjoy watching the women play here. They're on at 2 a.m. against Portugal. If they lose this, are they out, Bob?
I have no idea. I
Hey,
haven't
Rob, how
watched
do you
it.
not know this?
Yeah, because
You
I'm
watch
a
women's
You're a
tennis?
women's
horrifying
expert.
misogynist. Yeah, I watch women's tennis when it's on when I'm awake. Like ever since I've had kids, I don't watch a lot of Australian Open. All right, it's more French Open, Wimbledon, U.S. Open. I don't catch a lot of the 3 a.m. matches. So I have not been keeping up with this.
Gotcha. I've watched all their matches so far.
Yeah, so they have 4 points currently.
Yep.
Portugal has 3. Mm-hmm. So I think all they have to do is draw, and they get
They get through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it depends on what the Netherlands do too. Because if the Netherlands win,
1 and 2 get in.
Oh, it's both.
It's both.
Okay.
So yeah, they just need to tie Portugal.
Yep.
The U.S. hasn't looked great. I've watched all their matches in this. I actually enjoy it. Women's soccer's got really fucking good from a technical standpoint. So I've watched all these matches. They haven't looked great. Their backfield is fucking old, and you know whose daughter's actually really fucking good is Dennis Rodman's. Dennis Rodman's daughter's
that's
there,
rad.
and he doesn't talk to her, which is strange. But
Motivation.
when you see Rodman running around like on the back of the jersey on the field, it still brings something inside of you of like, oh man, she might punch this girl, and she's attractive. They've got something hanging on. That Morgan chick has played like shit. I don't know if they get out tonight. We'll see. I'm definitely not going to bet on it. They haven't looked great.
It'd be kind of
most
funny
of
if
these
they
games.
lost.
I think so too. So I'm not touching this one tonight, but I do enjoy watching it. And the women have definitely caught up with the men as far as skills and all that other shit. Even these other countries have been pretty fucking good. So we'll see. Netherlands didn't have a fucking problem in that game.
No, and it doesn't. If you were wondering, it doesn't look like Haiti's going to make it out of the group stage either.
I was wondering about Haiti.
Yeah.
Damn it, dude. They're going through some hard times there for the entire history of their country.
Yeah.
That seemed to never be getting better.
It's not. It's never going to get better. Ever.
And that's a perfect way to end the show on a dark, dark note. Sorry to the people of Haiti out there. There's a lot of them that watch the show, and I hate to disappoint you. I don't think it's ever getting better down there. You should just move. Bet with us or against us on mybookie.com. Don't forget to use that promo code Drinkin Bros to double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. We appreciate you tuning in. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star, and you can walk away. For D'Anthony Holloway, Delco Dan, Hot Bob, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Monday Morning Recap. Good morning, everyone.